Okay, well this tutorial is going to show you how to replace the foreground in a high ISO night photography image with the foreground from a corresponding low ISO image. So I've got two images here open in Photoshop. This is a Star Trails image that has a very busy foreground. As you can see here, if we zoom in, you can see there's a lot of hot pixels. There's a lot of, the image quality is pretty soft because of the high ISO. This is, I think, 12,800 or 6,400. And then over here, there's a second tab up here. You can see that I have a second image, which is much cleaner. If you look at the foreground between the two, if you look at these different rocks, they're really the same size. You can see that there's just a whole lot, still some hot pixels, as you can see, and still some noise, but this is ISO 800. And the overall detail is just much better in this one. So you can see that, in fact, the stars, this is a single 4-minute exposure to correspond for the reduction in the ISO, and you can see that the stars have actually moved in this case. And there are some clouds, which is why everything's kind of blurred out. All right, so what we want to do is we want to get rid of the sky in this image, capture only the foreground, and paste that foreground on top of the foreground in this image. So to do that, we first have to just remove this sky in Photoshop. Very simple thing to do. Copy what's left and paste that over on the Star Trails image. So the very first thing to do before we do any of that, oops, I'm just moving this thing around, is look over here on the right hand side, and you see there's these different panels. And the key thing to look for is this layers, I'm indicating right here. So you can click on it directly, or you can pop out, not this one, but this one here. And if you look at the bottom down here, you can see that the layers are indicated. Sometimes this panel is itself its own window, so whether you have it like this, whether you have the layers showing up like this, or if you have the layers showing up like this, it doesn't really matter, but the key thing is you want to have those layers visible. And then what you do is you can see here that in this image, this is the low ISO single exposure. I want to, as I say, get rid of the sky. Now, before I can do that, what I need to do is to convert this from a locked, see how there's this little padlock right here? I need to convert that by clicking on it from a locked background into a layer. So I'm going to position my mouse over this and go 3, 2, 1, click. And now I've changed this into a layer, an active layer, so that I can do things to it, like remove the background. That, see a bunch of other stuff change up here. A lot of times if you don't do that, that causes problems. So I know a couple of you have asked about that, and I think that's probably what the problem is right just there. So now all we need to do is to go up here where it says select. So I'm going to hit select sky, and then when I click on this, it's absolutely magic. Watch what happens. 3, 2, 1, click. So I click on that, and Photoshop is thinking it's actually finding the sky. And if you've never seen this before, it's absolutely phenomenal. You can see the marching ants. It's gone all the way around this rock, the tree, and so forth. And now all I need to do with on the keyboard, I'm just going to hit delete. 3, 2, 1, delete. And boom, it's gone. I just deleted that. So now you can see a transparent background. So this checkerboard is just what Photoshop uses to indicate that something is transparent. Now, so I still have the sky selected. You can see the ants, the marching ants going around this rock and the tree. So I need to fix that. So I go up to select, I hit deselect. When I hit deselect, that means to remove that selection of the sky. And now I go back up to select and I hit select all. So there is select all, I do that. Now I've selected the entire image. I want to copy that, edit, copy, right just here. So I can hit copy. And now I've copied this image, which is minus the sky. I'm going to come over to my Star Trails image. I'm going to hit edit, and I'm going to hit paste. Now when I hit paste here, watch what happens over here, okay? So you can see over here on the right-hand side, this is my Star Trails image, and I just have the one layer, which is the background. But when I hit paste, 3, 2, 1, click, you can see that we've added the contents of the good foreground image, if you will. And so now if you look at this image, we have the Star Trails with the high ISO foreground. So that's what we wanted. We're basically done. Just to confirm, you can see if we come over here to these layers, these little eyeballs indicate the visibility. So if I click here and switch off the underneath layer so it's invisible, all we have left is the top layer. If I switch that off, we don't have anything. If I switch the bottom layer on, we just see that. And if I switch the top layer back on, you can see how it covers up the foreground in the bottom layer. I'm just switching it on and off there. So that's it. So we're done. We're going to hit save, or we could go to, if we wanted to, we could flatten the image to merge layers. I don't generally do that. I generally hit save, so I save this as Photoshop, or I save a copy to save a JPEG version of it. But that, my friends, is how you do this. So in any event, we've now replaced the high ISO foreground with a low ISO foreground from a different image. All right, take care.